Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and we love to help the well-dressed take care of their wardrobes. Today I'm here with Jim McFarland, our cobbler that's in charge of our Kirby Allison shoe restoration and refurbishment program. And we're going to talk a little bit about the JR oak bark tanned leather outsoles that we exclusively use in our program. So Jim and I just got back from touring JR Rendenbach in Germany, and it was a beautiful tour. We filmed a lot of video, and actually seeing how these oak bark tanned leather outsoles are tanned was really incredible for us. I mean, to actually see the passion that they bring to this using the same family and tanning process that JR Rendenbach has used for almost 150 years is absolutely incredible. And so we're proud to exclusively use these leather outsoles. And so Jim, I just wanted you to talk a little bit about some of the technical characteristics of JR Rendenbach, these oak bark tanned leather outsoles that really do make them better than what is commonly available through most resoling programs.
Sure. One important thing is the company's phenomenal. The owner of the company, Hans Rendenbach, is a fourth generation tanner. And they've had this family recipe for more than 100 years. When you talk about passion, as we have in some of the other videos, Hans is one of the most passionate guys I would ever meet in my life when it comes to leather. I have never seen anybody so caring about leather and what he does. He's just an amazing man. When he buys hides, and he only keeps the very best part. Most tanneries, when they tan the whole hide and you get cutters cutting soles from bins, they cut from every area, and they'll have different grades, first grade all the way down to fourth or fifth grade. Mm-hmm. And they only keep the very best area. Everything else is sold off for other goods, belts, wallets, whatever. And so not only are you getting the very best cut of leather, but the process itself, when it's in the ground for 8 to 10 months, and it's only water and oak bark that's tanning this leather. You have no man-made tanning agents. So when this gets wet, it actually gets stronger. It doesn't have a problem with the agents washing out because it's cured in oak bark, to where you get some of these other leathers that they're tanned in 30 days or less, and they're putting man-made agents in them. And when they get wet, the agents wash out. So the soles become kind of mushy a lot of times and soft, and they wear out much faster. So you really need to avoid getting those shoes wet.
Yeah, I mean, the two most important characteristics of a leather outsole is that resistance to abrasion and then that water resistance. And those two things really work hand in hand, because if you have a leather outsole that is, filled with these tanning agents to accelerate that tanning process, those tanning agents or those fillers wash out, which then compromise the resistance to abrasion.
That's right.
So it's really hand in hand. And what's incredible about the JR Rendenbach oak bark tanned leather outsoles is just the beauty in this natural process. I mean, as we saw when we were there, they're really literally just using 4 different types of tree barks that they tan these leather outsoles in. There's nothing else being used. There's no chemical agents. It is natural as it comes, and it really creates a leather outsole that has a lot of these beautiful properties of nature. I mean, whenever it gets wet, the fiber structure tightens and actually locks water out.
One thing that's amazing, when I have a customer come in that's very passionate and they've heard of the JR leather, and they come in my store and they want to see it, I don't just bring them a sole. I go into my storage room and I bring out a fresh pack that's in plastic, and I bust open the package, and when the oak bark hits them in the face, they're just like, wow. Yeah. They can smell that oak bark.
You really can smell the quality. The other characteristic of our Kirby Allison certified refurbishment and restoration program is that we also exclusively use full soles. So although we have some half soles here, and JR certainly does make a half sole that many cobblers use,
yes.
In our program, we're only using the highest quality full sole.
Yes, that is it. There's nothing wrong with half soles in certain situations, but when you have a beautiful dress shoe that you love, you really want to go with a full sole.
Yeah. Well, so show us what we have here. So this is
it's an Italian tannage. Just some ways we test leather sometimes, just to see how the fiber structure is. You can take a sole, just kind of bend it, and then look at the results, and it stays kind of bent. Or you can bend it this way, and you can see it. The fiber structure isn't so tight. When you take one of the JR soles, so you take it and you bend it, and it's putting some effort to bend, but you take it and it goes back because the fiber structure is so strong and so solid, it's not going to have memory to just stay bent.
And that tight fiber structure, again, is what helps create that really unique resistance to abrasion that results in an outsole that wears harder and longer. And really, you're able to get 2 to 3 times as much wear out of a JR outsole than you would an ordinary one. And the reason that's important is, one, not only do you have to resole your shoes less frequently, so you're taking it to the cobbler less often, but it also reduces the number of times that you're really straining the welt whenever you restitch that. So every Goodyear welted pair of shoe really has a maximum lifetime to that welt, how many times it can be resoled until that welt just rips off or falls off because it's been perforated too much with the welting machine. So if you have a pair of shoes for 20, 30 years, it may be resoled 3 or 4 times versus 6 to 8. With an ordinary outsole that's going to wear much faster.
With all the tests I've done, if you take a really good sole and put it up against the JR is usually going to go twice as long. Now, when you get into lower grades of leather, it could be 3 to 5 times longer, depending on the shoe. So, if you've resoled a shoe with JR, let's say twice, if you would have used a regular leather, a different type of leather, it could have been anywhere from 4 to 6 times you've resoled it. So if you spend a little bit more money getting a JR sole put on your shoe, and you're thinking, well, I'm spending a little bit more here, I hope it's worth it. Well, you got to think in the long run, you've resoled it 2 or 3 times less, so you've actually saved a whole lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't you cut a pair and kind of show us?
Okay. Well, this is a sole that I can take and I can just pretty much cut it pretty easily with my knife. The fiber structure is, it's not bad, but it's soft enough to cut through pretty easy. Now, I know the owner of the company is probably watching this video, and this is like blasphemy, I'm sure. So I want to cut across here. So if I come across here, you can hear it. You can hear how tight that fiber is when I'm cutting with this sharp knife, which is like a razor. So when I go to cut this one again, listen to the difference. It's so soft I can't hardly even get it, but listen to the difference.
Yeah.
How much easier I went right through that. It's almost like paper. You can just feel it. As a craftsman, when you're working with leather, that's one thing that we love to do as a cobbler, is work with leather. That's our favorite thing. When somebody comes in with a bad piece of leather that was put on their shoes, and they have a nice pair of shoes, and they say, the leather just wears out too fast. I went through this in 6 months, put rubber on. That's just awful, because the rubber soles are just heavier, and they just don't
they lack the finesse. And that's one of the other things that really struck me whenever we were touring JR, was that most people, they want to put a rubber sole on their shoe because, the leather sole wears out too quickly and it doesn't have the water resistance. Well, it's really not a characteristic of a proper leather outsole. It's because maybe their shoes were made with a really cheap leather outsole.
Absolutely.
And so if you resole your shoes using JR, or it's made with JR, which some of the best shoemakers in the world actually exclusively use JR Rendenbach oak bark tan leather outsoles, like Edward Green. But if you resole your shoes with a pair of JR outsoles, then you're going to get that longevity, you're going to get that water resistance, but you also have the finesse and beauty of having your dress shoes with the proper pair of leather outsoles. And there's just something about the elegance of a leather outsole that I just feel that you'll never get even from the highest quality rubber outsoles.
No, I would take leather any day.
The JR outsoles were really a precondition of our Kirby Allison restoration and refurbishment program. I always said that if we were going to do this, it was going to have to be not just with the best craftsmanship, which we have here, but really the best materials at every single step of the way.
The high quality and the high standards that the Kirby Allison project bring to this program are the highest I've ever seen. And I've been doing this my whole life, full-time since I was 16 years old. And this is the first time I have ever seen anything like this, and I'm very excited to start.
Yeah. So anyone that's considering having their shoes resoled, I really encourage you to take a look at our Kirby Allison refurbishment and restoration program, because there's just nobody that I know that's really put everything into their program like what we have, and you'll absolutely be blown away by the quality that we're doing here. Click the link at the bottom of this video to learn more about our Kirby Allison shoe restoration and refurbishment program. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications by clicking the bell to the right of the subscribe button so that you can learn whenever we release new videos. If you have any questions or comments about anything we discussed on this video, please ask them in the comments section below. And of course, please visit hangerproject.com, where we have the largest, most comprehensive collection of luxury garment care and shoe care accessories in the world, as well as many other incredible products for the well-dressed. And while you are there, subscribe to our newsletter to receive notifications of new product launches, promotions, as well as a weekly digest of all the videos we publish here on our YouTube channel.